Kieran, how you doing, man?
Hey, buddy.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You're our first footballer.
No way.
First proper footballer.
Okay, what's a non-proper footballer?
So we've had Russell Okung and we've had Sean Colkin.
Oh, I love Russ, yeah.
American Egg Ball.
Yeah.
The first proper footballer. So, look, great to have you on, man. Really chuffed to have this. My brother's a Gooner, so he'll be proud of this. And but we were talking this morning, me and Danny, we were like, because this is your first time in Miami?
Yeah, first time.
Yeah, we've been here a few days, and we can't understand why you left Birmingham.
Yeah, it was a strange one because I actually didn't realise it came around quite quick in the end.
Yeah,
moving here from England, and I basically I got to a point where the pandemic hit, and I just felt like I needed, something completely new and different to keep me, a good challenge that would excite me. It was a new club. It's a new club, great owners, and yeah, it's a great city. So I'm happy. I'm really settled here now. It took me a while. I literally landed with like 2 suitcases and had to kind of just start from scratch. And I just came on my own because it was just too much of a nightmare with COVID. But no, found my feet. And I'm happy, and thanks for having me on, by the way, because I've watched a lot of your podcasts. You're gonna have to go easy on me because I'm not, I'm not a blockchain expert, but I'll try.
we'll go easy. Well, there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. I mean, I want to talk about football. I love football. Just told you I bought a club, and I'm a Liverpool fan. Danny's United. I don't know what fuck Jeremy supports. Chelsea. Sports Richmond FC. So I want to talk about football with you, but I want to talk about Bitcoin as well. Talk about a bunch of stuff, but definitely want to talk about football because we don't have the chance for this. We're massive football fans, and most of the people we talk to are nerds or economists, and we just talk about Bitcoin all the time. But it's good to talk about a bit of football. I want to know a bit about your career, man. Like, you play for England, you play for Arsenal. That's not something we've ever going to get to experience ourselves. So it's good to learn a bit about this. So tell us about Arsenal. Tell us about coming through and finally getting to the first team. I know you've probably asked all these questions before in the past, but it's good for us to hear.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, I didn't really know any different because I was there since I was 14. I left Wimbledon when they went into administration and they became MK Dons. So I was at Wimbledon first.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when they moved to Milton Keynes, it was just too much travel for my parents. And so we needed to kind of, think about what else we could do. And we'd actually played, like, for some reason, Wimbledon used to play Arsenal quite a lot of the time. There wasn't really a league. It was only like, we were like 12 years old. So it wasn't, I think there's probably a lot more to it now, but back then you just played, teams that were available, I think. And so, yeah, we played against them quite a bit. And then I moved there at 14 with my brother. I was there for 2 years, and then I signed a scholarship at 16. And to be honest, I would say I would have been I was one of those that if you would have lined up the whole team, I mean, most of them they signed a 1-year scholarship and then like a 2-year pro. Whereas me, I barely got a scholarship. I was quite small. I was one of the ones that you probably wouldn't have tipped to have played for the first team. Because our age group was amazing. They were so good.
Who else was in that group?
So you had like Jay Simpson, Mark Randall, Gavin Hoyt, Paul Rogers, a lot of just young athletic boys that were, street footballers. Most of them from North London. And so, yeah, it was actually quite strange. And then when I signed the scholarship, sometimes you start to train with the first team if you get lucky, if there's a few injuries. And it kind of went from there, really. And I was actually more of a midfielder back then. And then there was a game against Sheffield United, my debut. I was 17. And we needed cover. We needed cover at left back, and so I filled in. And then that was it, really. It kind of went from there. The manager said that he wanted me to, learn my trade from there, and so that's kind of where it began for me.
Was that a league or a cup game?
That was a cup game.
And did you start, or were you on the bench as cover?
No, I started.
You started?
Yeah, I
It's
started.
the first time straight in the team.
I don't know if I would have been on the bench before that. I might have. I can't remember now. I mean, we're going back.
Was that Highbury,
15
or did they
years.
move to Emirates then?
No, it was at Emirates, but it was Sheffield. It was away.
It was away.
It was away, yeah.
So what's that like, the first time in the dressing room before a game?
It's surreal. It's
Yeah.
surreal. Nothing can really prepare you for it.
Yeah.
To be honest, no matter how much, mental work, or you kind of just got to go through it. And thankfully, we won 3-0. I mean, the team was world class.
Who was in the team in that?
So you had you had Song, Alex Song, Diaby.
Was Fabregas there then?
Fabregas was there. I don't know if he was playing that game, but it was that kind of era.
Did you get to play with Henri? Because it feels like when we were researching that you just missed him, but he did come back.
He came back. I think I was out with I think I might have been out with a hernia, a sports hernia, which was devastating. I was ruled out for like a couple of months, so I missed a chance to actually be on a pitch with him. But I trained with him, and
I remember that Leeds game where he scored.
incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So what was it like to play for Wenger? What was he like?
Again, it was for me, I didn't have another manager until I was like 27.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I didn't really know any different. I had England managers, but you're not with them long enough to kind of gauge, how good they are as a club manager.
Who was that with England? Was it Capello?
First was with Capello, and then Hodgson, and Gareth. So, yeah, I didn't really know any different. It was only until I left. In fact, I went on loan to Norwich for 3 months when I was like 18, and that was under Glenn Roeder. Rest in peace, actually, Glenn Roeder. A great man. And so, yeah, I didn't really get enough experience of different managers to know, just how good he was. But at the same time, you still, it's Arsene Wenger, right?
Yeah.
It's just some things you just can't explain, but he had an amazing way of giving you confidence without screaming from the rooftops. He was more like philosophical, the way he spoke about the game. And that's, I think that's what won him, a lot of the players for so many years.
But he's one of those managers a lot of other people liked. A
What's
lot of other people respected him as a manager. Like me as a Liverpool fan, I mean, my brother's an Arsenal fan, so I went for years watching Arsenal win against Liverpool, and had to suffer a lot of abuse from my brother. But he's a manager that everyone just kind of respects, and probably unless you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah, I think he was just so. I think it's just his humility, like the way he carried himself. He's a gentleman. Never really looked to unstable the team. Always, steadied the ship. We would always, when there was trouble, in the camp, and we'd lost a few on the bounce, or he always had a way of, getting the team rallied up and coming back from hardship, which was, another big characteristic of his.
And when you came through, did the other players look after you? Did they give you a bit of shit? What's it like?
Some do and some don't.
Yeah.
Did you have to sing a song?
Actually, no, but I did when I went to West Brom, and I actually did when I had to come here.
What's your song?
Yeah, what do you say?
Michael Jackson, The Way You Make Me Feel.
Nice.
What, both times?
Both times. It's my go-to.
You should go to.
Yeah.
You scored a couple of goals for Arsenal, even though you're left back. What was that like? What's it like putting it in the net?
Yeah, there's no better feeling. You can tell why strikers are strikers. There isn't a better feeling. Didn't get as many as I would have liked, but I got one against the rivals, which will always be.
You got one against Spurs.
Yeah,
What was the score? Do you remember?
1-1
Equaliser or first?
equaliser.
Was that your first goal?
First ever goal?
For the Arsenal?
No.
No.
My first ever goal was it was against. Oh my God, that's so bad. I think it was against Shrewsbury. It might have been against Shrewsbury in the cup when I was like 18.
Let's talk about the Tottenham one then. So you put the ball in the back of the net, you put it back level. You must have gone mental.
Yeah. My best friend was there actually, and
Nice.
he was the only one that could come, and he to that game for some reason, and he's a Spurs fan, so it was at the Emirates, and he wasn't too best pleased, but it was good for the Arsenal.
I fucking hate Spurs. I do, and I'm not even an Arsenal fan. Four of my best mates from school are all Spurs fans.
Yeah.
And I've had 30 years of them telling me how they're a great club.
Yeah.
Constantly in my ear. I fucking hate them.
Yeah. I mean, it's both. I mean, they're not doing the best at the moment, so you're
They're
probably
cursed.
happy. Yeah.
They're cursed. They never win. Is it like that in the team with Spurs? Like, does everyone just end up hating them?
Yeah. I think it just filters through.
Really?
You know, from the fans straight through the players. That's one of them games where no other game matters really in this season. If you know, especially if you do the double over them, the fans will forgive you for pretty much 90% of the other games.
I've been to a couple of them at White Hart Lane. I went to, or 3 Point Lane. I went to the 5-4. I don't know if you remember that one. And I went to the 2-2 where I think you won the league at the ground. And they were celebrating on the pitch, and the fans were going mental.
Yeah.
Crazy games.
Yeah. White Hart Lane was electric.
Yeah.
White Hart Lane was electric. I used to enjoy those ones.
Yeah. I always felt it was a good stadium, just great atmosphere.
Brilliant.
They managed to put in there, and how much stick I give them. Was the United rivalry still going when you played?
It wasn't as bad as it was, but it's still a massive game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. Like the Liverpool United, you two head to head is.
We've never been to one of them together.
No, we haven't. We're always kicking your ass at the moment anyway.
Yeah, true.
Don't worry about that, mate. So who was the best player you played against? Like anyone stand out?
Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
Eden Hazard. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of work that you can try and put in to stop him, but I mean, his form at Chelsea was just frightening. It was frightening.
You'd have played against Ronaldo though, right?
Yeah, but I just found that Eden, especially when he was there, he was so at the top of his game. He was unplayable. For me, he was unplayable. So yeah, I would probably say Eden.
And what was it like playing for England? That first call up?
Yeah, probably one of the highlights of my career for sure. Again, nothing can really prepare you for it, and that was kind of at a time where there wasn't really that many young players in the team.
Right.
So it was kind of like the older generation were.
Gerrard, Lampard.
Yeah. So I watched them growing up in England tournaments, just like you guys would have.
Mm-hmm.
So daunting, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And made debut at Wembley.
Nice.
Yeah, home to Hungary. Came on second half.
Was that like a 4-0 or something?
I think it might have been 2-1.
2-1.
I think it might have been 2-1.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I went to the final, the Euros.
This year.
Yeah.
Oh, I was here, but London looked. It looked like the Purge.
Yeah, it was.
It looked like the end of. The end of London.
I went down with my son to the game. We'd gone to the Denmark and the Germany game, which were great. We got down to Wembley on the game, and there must have been 100,000 people there who weren't going to the game.
Yeah.
Dancing, singing, throwing shit everywhere. Everyone was drunk. It was wild. It
Yeah. I remember seeing videos and thinking, it was actually, it was gutting to be here during that.
Right.
Just because, actually, I'm good friends with Zat Knight, and Zat Knight flew over from He lives in LA.
Did he play for Fulham?
Yeah, Zach Knight played for Fulham, Villa.
Was he centre back?
Yeah, big centre half.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine, and he came over. So we found a bar a sports bar in Miami somewhere to go and watch it. But that's one thing that's good here is the sports bars.
100%.
For going to watch sports. You just don't have that. It's just such a huge market in London for that. I don't understand why it hasn't. You know, do you think?
Yeah, I'm here all the time, and especially if I'm in a city on my own, I'll just find out when there's like, even if there isn't football on, but if there's football on, I'll go to a bar and watch it. But I'll go and watch American football. I'll go and watch baseball. I'll just go and sit there in front of the 20 screens, get some chicken wings, and just sit and watch it. And they've nailed it, but they nailed the service, they nailed the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I think what they have is there's always something on.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. But I just don't understand why they haven't done that in the UK. The sport bar culture, I think it could be a good thing.
I think the sports is just a different culture.
Yeah, and also they probably don't trust. The English drinking all day, watching sports.
Rip the TVs off the wall. So what's it like coming over here and playing here? We were talking about it earlier, because these teams seem to be a mix of like superstars and local Americans.
Yeah.
So it's quite a range.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was just going to say that. You get like some real high quality players in the league. And when I first joined, I was like, he could play in Europe. So could he. And you did that kind of every game. And it's very physical because, you know, the Americans do their fitness and everything double as much as they probably do. I would say it's further ahead than the UK. And so everyone's fit and strong and fast. So it's very physical. And then you get two or three dangerous players in each team. So it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit more end-to-end, a little bit more end-to-end in terms of tactically. It's a bit kind of, I wouldn't say headless chickeny, but I think the fans want here, they want entertainment.
Yep.
Like America's about entertaining, right? So it's who can entertain the fans the most. So it's a little bit less tactical, but not too much. And I've been impressed by the standard since I've been here.
Yeah. What is the what's the kind of like fan support here? I haven't been to a Miami game. I went to who did I go to see recently? Tennessee. I went to Nashville, and they were in the football stadium, and there's probably 10,000 people in there, so they're quite spread out. But within the fans behind the goal, the organisation of the fans, they had like these two guys at the front who were kind of like orchestrating the band. It was really good. I was like, we were talking about. I was really impressed by that. But the crowd wasn't huge. Are you finding it is growing? What's it like here in Miami?
Well, the stadium gets full. Okay. A lot of games that I've played since I've been here, the stadium's been full. But obviously you get some stadiums where it's like 70,000 people, 70,000 seat a stadium.
Yeah.
Like you go to Atlanta, it's one of the best stadiums I've ever played in. It's incredible.
And it's full.
Yeah. It wasn't full when we were there because it was a midweek game apparently. And I think the season's just been with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
But apparently people were saying that it does get full like in the previous seasons. And there's other stadiums as well that are really cool. Where else did I enjoy? Portland.
They're a bit wild up in Portland, right?
Yeah.
I think they get the whole having a group of fans are a bit rowdy, bit of atmosphere.
Yeah. You get some good atmospheres here for sure. So yeah, I think it's definitely growing. It's definitely growing here. There's a few things probably that the league would have to do to make it, become even bigger. I think salary cap's going to be an important part.
Right, because that's in place, right? Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so you can have like, I don't know, 2 or 3 players that are exempt from salary cap.
Okay.
And then the rest of the team do.
So why do they have the cap?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they have it in basketball or NFL as well, but that's probably going to be because then South Americans or Americans, if they get their opportunity to go to Europe, they're gonna choose that.
Yeah, they're gonna choose that. So what are the 3 exempts in your teams?
No, I'm not a DP.
You're not?
No. I'm not a DP. Just a normal guy, Peter.
Normal guy, man.
Who is it then? Higuain?
Higuain, Blaze, and Pizarro.
You got a decent
Pizarro,
team
the
here.
Mexican. Yeah. We actually had like a phase when I first joined. We won, or we were unbeaten in like 12 on the bounce, and we started to pick up a lot of momentum, and then we lost a few players to injury and stuff. But I saw some good signs like from the team. I was really impressed. But prior to that, they hadn't won for like 8 games.
Oh, shit.
And so, they'd lost. I think they'd lost 7 or 8 on the bounce. And so, but I didn't really. I was trying to follow it as much as I could, but I was in the process of just like moving over here, and so I was so busy. I wasn't being able to watch any of the games and stuff. But when I came, it was quite flat, and we just went on this run, and we gave ourselves a real chance to get into the playoffs, but we just fell short in the end, which was a shame because, when you start to get that little feeling of that the team's starting to click and you're having an impact, it's like there's no better feeling than that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it was a shame we fell short in the end, but I've really enjoyed it since I've been here.
Did you have to adjust your game at all?
Um,
And can you take the piss a bit? Because they're Yanks and they're not as good.
no, you can't. That's the
You can't
thing.
take
You
the
actually can't. You actually can't. Not that I thought that you could. When you step on a pitch, like it doesn't matter what league you're playing in or where you are. Like, as a professional, you just can't. It's just not in you well, it's not in me anyway to do that. So
Even a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit. Not going to play for Bedford, mate.
Yeah, well, if you you've bought Bedford, right?
Pretty much, yeah, in the process.
Okay, perfect. You're going to pay all of your players in Bitcoin?
Do you know what the funny thing is at the moment? Because of the level they're in, they don't actually, no one's being paid at the moment. But we're about to sign 5 players to try and ensure we can get promoted this season. So we've got to get 5 guys. We're going to get like a spine. And I've got to pay them like 50 to 100 quid a game each. But next year, it'll be like 200 to 300. And the year after, it's 4 to 5. And it goes up pretty quick. And by the time you hit the conference, it's probably $1 million a year salary.
Deal.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Are
you excited?
I am. We need a left back.
Do you?
You'll come down to Bedford. Mate, I am.
Lions couldn't chase me out of this city at the moment.
Listen, I am. I tell you why. I've always wanted to do this because we don't have a team where we are. Our nearest teams are MK Dons.
Right.
I've got no interest in Milton Keynes, Luton,
Yeah.
Cambridge. We don't have a team. Well, we do, but so far. But I've always wanted to do this. But it's like, how do you have the money to create a team that can compete? And now I've got a way I can do this because I'm just going to leverage the platform. And I showed you the shirt. We can sell 10,000 shirts.
Right.
Sell sponsorships to Greg and other people. And
Yeah.
where most of the clubs in the division we're in maybe turn over 15, 20 grand for that year, we can turn over $1 million. And so us to climb the leagues is actually going to be quite easy and leverage it, make it the Bitcoin club. So yeah, mate, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's really good. Congratulations.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get you down for one game when you're in.
Yeah, I'll come down and talk to the players.
Yeah.
Might need a director of football in a few
might need
years.
that, yeah. So you grew up in Lambeth?
I grew up in Croydon. I was born in Lambeth.
You're born in Lambeth?
I was born in Lambeth, King's College, and then grew up in Croydon up until I moved to North London when I was 15 to do a scholarship.
Were you a Palace fan?
I was Wimbledon.
Are you actually Wimbledon?
Yeah, well, because I was there since I was like 9.
Yeah.
It was, my family were all Arsenal, and if it wasn't for Wimbledon, I'm still a huge Arsenal fan. I've got kits since I was like 3 years old. But it was just because when the players would be able to ball boy at Selhurst Park.
Okay.
So because we played for the academy, so that was we would go and train, and then we'd go down to Selhurst Park and Ball Boy.
Nice.
And so that was our first, like, my first real experience of going and watch a game. And I used to watch, you know, Shipley. And,
Yeah, mate, that's a name.
Shipley, Nigel Reo-Coker,
Wow.
who we loved back then because he was like still young, and he was like who all the boys looked up to. Joby McAnuff. Yeah, there was a few, but we would also, I would also follow Palace, because, you know, it's just South London. They were the South London clubs.
Andy Johnson fan.
Andy Johnson, who was Palace?
So my son was in school with Andy Johnson's son, and his son's now playing for Stevenage. He's doing all right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Player.
Yeah.
Hell of a player.
He's a Bedford lad.
Oh, nice. So maybe you can get him down there then.
Maybe. Get his boots back on. I think Parish has done a great job at Palace.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
They're cemented now.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I'm loving Conor Gallagher's season, because I played with him when he was on loan last season.
Yeah.
At West Brom, and I thought I knew he was a player.
He's decent.
I
Have
knew he
you
was a
seen
player.
him?
No, I've not.
He's this blonde-haired lad. He scored a few goals, hasn't he? And
Yeah.
he played for England the other day. He's solid.
Yeah. Great player, great kid as well. Cobham boy, great kid.
So there's a lot of people listening now going like, shut the fuck up, I'm here for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Fuck you talking about football, Americans. Although Ted Lasso's changed it a little bit. But one of the things we wanted to talk about is, let's talk about Bitcoin first. Like, how did you get into this? Because there's not been many footballers. Like, who have we seen? There's like the German guy, and it's like 2 or 3 we see occasionally. But like,
Yeah.
you know, when we see it, we're always like, huh, okay. Where did this come from for you? How did you get into this?
Well, first of all, I think that there's probably more than, probably now over the last 2 years, you know, as adoption comes, people can do it on their phones easily.
Right.
And so people are buying and stuff. So there are more footballers than we would probably think that are involved in it. But I got introduced to it back in, someone mentioned it to me in like 2015, and I kind of fell into the trap of what the narrative was around it then.
Yeah.
You know, about the black market and illegal activity. And so I kind of just closed the door on it straight away, left it for another 2 years. And then when I signed at West Brom...
Do you know what? That's funny. That's how I got into it. I was buying stuff on the black market.
I'm sure you was, yeah. Trying to fund Bedford. And then when I signed it was actually when I signed at West Brom, I met Hal Robson-Kanu.
Yeah.
You know Hal Robson-Kanu?
Well, so, because I told you I was born in Reading.
Right.
I used to go and watch Reading play,
Oh, yeah.
and I used to watch him when he played.
Yes. Yeah.
Scored that great goal for Wales.
Yeah,
Remember
he
that great
did.
goal?
Yeah.
That fucking turn.
And he's still a very good friend of mine, but it was him. I have to thank him, to be honest. He was, I mean, he is a blockchain expert, believe it or not. Way further down the rabbit hole than me. And he just spoke so passionately about it. And that kind of started to change my mindset on it a little bit. And then I kind of just started from the beginning of, you know, of everything really, of how we transact as humans, you know, before we discovered gold. I feel like it kind of does that to you. Mm-hmm. It makes you, because you only know what you know. And then when something like this comes along, you start to question, you know, things. And then, so I started from zero, from the beginning. I went through, you know, the history of kind of money, and then come to quickly find out. I just quickly ran out of arguments against it. And I think that's what it does to you, doesn't it? Once it gets you, the penny just starts to drop, and then all of a sudden you're running out of bad things to say about it once you actually do the work on it.
So you read the Bitcoin Standard.
I read the Bitcoin Standard. Well, I'm like 3/4 of the way through that, which is funny because I spoke to Saifi Dean.
Did you?
And so I'm still on the actual money part. I haven't got to the Bitcoin part yet.
Me and Saifuddin aren't friends.
Oh no.
No, I disagree with him on modern art.
Modern art.
Yeah, there's a section where you'll get to in the book where he hates modern art.
Ah, right.
So he probably hates NFTs as well. Danny, what do you think the ropiest shitcoin is he owns? What do you reckon? Do you reckon he's got some Shibu?
Oh, you've definitely got some Shibu.
No chance.
You got some Doge.
I'm no. I'm a 90% or 95%.
So you're nearly there. You're nearly
That's a
there.
pass, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5% impure. I reckon the rest is Ethereum, right? Maybe a bit of Solana.
No, a bit of Ethereum, but I can't deal with like reading like over 3,000 white papers. You know.
Yeah, that would
I'm
be a
like,
waste of time.
Yeah.
So did you read the Bitcoin white paper? You did?
I did. I mean, I saw a lot of P's and Q's, which, you know, I'm no computer scientist, but I think you just quickly learn just by using it and people talking about it, that it's an extremely robust system that is designed basically to only go up.
Up only.
Yeah.
Do a lot of footballers talk about it? Is it part
A
of
lot
the
more
dressing
now.
room?
A lot more now.
Are you the Bitcoin guy in the dressing room?
Are you the Russell Okung?
In Miami, I would say probably, yeah. A few of them do different stocks and, you know, they talk about this trade and that trade that their friends told them about. Because you've got all of these, like, you've got like Robinhood and all of these apps now that's just making it so much more accessible. You've got like the retail people flooding in. But I don't do it. I don't do any of that. I don't do any stock stuff really on my phone anyway.
What about Bex? Is Bex in on that?
Yeah, Bex comes in, gets some tips.
Does he?
Give some tips out to the boys.
Has he got some Bitcoin? What's he like?
He's great. He's great. Whenever he's in Miami, he comes in every day.
Did you know him before this move?
Yeah. I mean, not like we weren't like best mates, but I played. I'm not sure if I had an England camp with him now. I can't remember, but he trained, didn't he? Remember when he was? I think he was at the Galaxy during his off season.
He trained at the Arsenal.
He went
right?
to come back and train. Yeah. So you would have a couple of weeks with him then, and his son Romeo is a big Arsenal fan. So they would come a lot to the games in the dressing room. They would come and, you know, like Romeo would get his shirt signed from all the players. He was like that big, and it was so weird to see him now.
He's massive now.
He's huge.
How did he get away with being an Arsenal fan?
Don't know. You know what?
Yeah. He's a big gooner.
He's playing here, right? Isn't he?
He plays for
A local team.
Fort Lauderdale
Yeah.
FC. So I think it's like the feeder club, but it's all in the same building.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll tell you something. Beckham's the only person who's made me cry. I cried when he retired.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I got upset.
Wow. Well, I mean, he was one of our greats, wasn't he?
I was in Greece on holiday. Not in Greece. I was in Spain on holiday in, what is it, Fortaventura? One of those places for the Greece game. All my mates in a pub. Yeah, we're 2-1 down, and he scored that goal, and it's a special moment. But yeah, when he retired, I got a little bit upset. I love Beckham.
Yeah. Great guy.
Can you ask him to be my mate?
Come on the podcast.
Get him on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll get him on the podcast. So listen, you've taken half your salary now in Bitcoin. That's the thing that's been going through sports. We see Odell Beckham Jr. has taken his salary. Russell Okung wanted to, and Sean Culkin wanted to before they cut him. Fuckers. But that's a bit of a thing that's happening now. Why did you decide to do that?
A few reasons. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. But I don't know if I'm the first football player.
First I've heard of.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll be the last. I think it's just it's a right of ours. Well, firstly, it's a right of ours to try and keep up or at least outpace, at the very least, inflation. And so, at the moment, if you get paid in dollars, you're having to work. You're having to get at least a 10% pay rise every year in order for your life not to keep getting more expensive. And then so when you look at what else you can get paid in, you can't get paid in gold, much to your boy Peter Schiff's
He'd be pissed about that.
demise, yeah. And so, all roads kind of end up leading towards Bitcoin. And so yeah, I think that's probably one of the main reasons. But I think going deeper than that, Bitcoin for me it has the ability to solve a lot of big problems in the world. I believe, and so that's kind of why I would come out and advocate it, because I love what it represents and what it stands for.
Gone well down the rabbit hole. So, what kind of response did you get to that? Were other footballers like, "Hey, Kieran, what the fuck are you doing it?"
Yeah, my mum called me. She said, "I'm getting on the first flight and I'm taking you out of there."
Good mums.
Yeah. She's like, "What have you done?" No, I mean, it was only a week ago or so, but I haven't really seen a lot of the reaction. I got a lot of reaction from the crypto world, which was funny, because actually, ended up meeting people like you and people that I've followed and listened to, because it's like a hobby of mine, right? A lot of people do different things in their spare time. I love the crypto community. They crack me up so much. They're so funny, and even like stuff like this. Just I follow a lot of the gold versus Bitcoin debates. It's kind of like I get a kick out of it, which is. And so I actually got a lot of attention in the crypto world, and got to meet people like you and a few other people that I've spoke to, which has been great, because it's like I'm almost like a fan of you guys and what you guys are doing. So,
which is really weird, by the way, because I would have been watching you play football on telly years ago, and I set up a podcast as a joke, and now I'm here doing this.
Yeah, that's life, right?
Yeah, it's weird how it works out.
It is. I'll be down in Bedford, literally, and like, I might go down there next week when I go back to London.
Mate, do it.
Yeah.
We'll get you down. We'll get down for the game.
Yeah, come watch the game.
Meet the team.
But yeah, no, I think I hope that other players, would at least do the work on it and educate themselves. It's not like I would never say to anyone, go and do this or buy this. But by announcing it, it's kind of like, it shows people, oh, okay, well, what is this? And that's the most important.
Well, one of the things we were talking about this morning is, financial literacy amongst sports, specifically footballers, trying to understand what it's like, because there is that like continual depressing story where you'll see an ex-footballer from years ago and they're broke and they've not got any money and they've had a great life. And Neil Ruddock, we were talking about, it just seems like he's jumping around from show to show, and it's just like, what's he blowing his money on? Did that change? Do they teach that to footballers now? When you come through, do they try and help you manage your finances? Because you're suddenly going from, I don't know what you get as on a scholarship, but suddenly to massive salary.
Yeah, it's so much different here actually to the UK. It's getting better in the UK, I think, but you don't have to go through the college system. Back home. So you turn 16 or 17 to sign a professional contract. That's pretty much it. You get an agent and he finds you a financial advisor, and then that's it. You get your allowance to spend on whatever you want, and then the rest of it is kind of dealt with.
So they do start managing money for you.
Yeah. There's like depending on at 17 what your parents are like, if they're if they want to just keep it all for themselves, or manage it as a family, or put you with someone that can help try and navigate your finances through the world. But I mean, in terms of like players being able to learn themselves, it's just a lot harder there, because here you have to go to through the uni, and then you get drafted. Whereas
they even do that in the soccer. Oh, why am I saying soccer?
No, that's embarrassing.
That's awful. I'm getting out.
Have you found yourself doing it?
I have to.
It's bollocks, isn't it?
You have to, yeah. I say when I meet people, I say football, and then they look at me and they're like, "Well, look, you weigh about 65 kilos.
What are you, a wide receiver?"
Yeah. So I have to learn to say. I've had to learn to say soccer. There's a lot of other sayings as well that I've had
Sneakers.
to learn. That
Do you say
really
sneakers?
annoying. Yeah, it's sneaker runners or whatever they call them. Runners. Cleats is boots. Cleats.
Boots. They had that in Lasso, didn't they? What do you mean? You put your boots in the boot?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that is one of the things on our mind. Do they like teach the financial literacy? And you know, if you can throw people down a Bitcoin rabbit hole, at least they'll be thinking about money. It makes them thinking about what money is, what it means.
Yeah, I honestly think I just genuinely got lucky by meeting people like Robson and a few other people that I've got to know in the space over the last few years.
Hold on, did he score on the weekend?
No, he's not playing. He's
not playing.
He's a free agent at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah.
You're gonna get him out here?
Yeah, I had a call with him the other day. There's a few players that I'm trying to poach at the moment.
Yeah. So what's the first flash motor you bought?
Flash motor.
You must have gone out and got a flash motor.
Do you know what? That's the funny thing. I've never really been into cars.
Not every footballer goes and gets a flash motor.
Yeah, I think I got a C class when I was 18, which I was thrilled with. But I mean, even that now, like my auntie drives that. She's still got that now. I gave it to her. You know.
So you never did the mirrored Range Rover?
No, I never did the mirrored Range Rover. I mean, I've always had really nice cars. I'm a bit of a range guy. I can't do low cars. I can't do sports cars.
I thought it was a G-Wagon now. I thought everyone had a G-Wagon.
Yeah, the G-Wagon.
You've got a G-Wagon, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I like the Defender. I like the Defender at the moment. So I'm looking at one of them. There's quite a few of them here. They're not that popular back home, but here it's a nice ride. And they're in Bond movie as well, the new Bond movie. So I'm like,
I cried at the end of that as well. I know it sounds like I cry a lot.
God.
You said Bex was the only person that made you cry.
No, he's the only footballer.
Okay.
Yeah, I cried at that as well.
So Daniel Craig's the only actor that's made you cry.
No, a few have made me cry. I've cried at E.T. We can't talk about that film in case somebody's not seen it, but it did make me cry. Can't talk about it. So, out here in the US, you're loving it, you're enjoying it out here.
Yeah, just a totally different mentality out here. There's just a lot of interesting people. There's a lot of things happening, and obviously especially for crypto.
Yeah, it's massive.
So it's great to be here during that. I've met a lot of fascinating people, and you just have to realize like the smartest people in the world are building this kind of this future.
Yeah. You'll get a lot of opportunities.
Future.
A lot of people want to talk to you now. They want you at the events. You could take on as much of this as you want.
Yeah, I'll bring you as my +1.
Bring you as my +1. We'll be at the conference there. You're going to come to the conference. You should come to the conference.
Yeah, I'd love to. I went this year. And I really enjoyed it. I love all of the speakers. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of, the Sailors, the Jack Mallers. These are people that are gonna, pioneer. They're pioneers in the next over the next few decades. I believe
It's a wild community, though.
Oh, it's wild. That's why I love it.
Yeah,
it's wild because there's just it's a bit rough around the edges. People are so smart, but they just don't really care. They don't really listen to what the other side of the fence says. They're so bullish.
Yeah. They're savage though. Be
Yeah,
careful.
savage.
They're savage. Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, when you've been in the football world, it doesn't get more savage than that, mate. So,
Who is savage in football?
Savage for me, Jack Wilshere.
Okay.
Still one of my closest friends in football, and love him to bits. And we've had some savage moments together in our day.
I miss seeing him play.
Oh my God! I mean,
I remember that goal for Arsenal, the one there was like 20 passes really in quick
Oh,
succession. It was like got one of the goals of the season. Were you playing in that game?
Yeah. Against Norwich, I think, at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's like a knife through butter. He was just. I've just not really seen many players like him.
Did you play with Jermaine Pennant? Was
No,
he before you?
He was before me. Yeah.
Did you ever hear that story about him? Did you hear the story about him where he got called up for his first game in the morning. Apparently, he'd been on the piss the night before.
Right.
Turns up, he had 2 hours sleep. He scored a hat trick.
Did he? I like that. I like that.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So listen, we're building this football team. We need some football friends.
You're building this football team?
Yeah, in Bedford. We need some football friends. What advice would you give me?
I mean, you have to hire Ted Lasso.
It's mad what that's done for football out here.
Unbelievable. They love it. It's one of the first things that people say to me every time I meet someone out here. If I'm English and I play soccer, have you seen Ted Lasso? And I'm like, they've done so well. And it just closed like the rights I saw for the rest of the Premier League. It got like 60 mil.
What?
To have the rights of all the teams. Because I think they only had like, was it Palace? And
Yeah. Well, it's all filmed at Palace, right?
Yeah. But then they had like, I think Man City. I haven't watched all of the seasons, but they just closed. They did that well that they've closed the deal with the Premier League.
Amazing. So that means they're gonna.
Yeah, they'll have like
That's
the new
amazing.
season. They'll have all of the teams.
They should get some good cameos in.
Yeah. It would be like Pro Evo, where they had to cut like Red
Yeah.
Pro Evo, you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you know my
North London Red.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And you'd get like, there was like one team you would get.
Yeah.
So do you know my Pro Evo story?
No.
So I lost in the final of the UK National Pro Evo tournament about 20 years ago. Went to
loser.
Birmingham. You fuck off. I went to Birmingham with my brother. They had a national tournament. And there's like, I don't know, 1,000 people in this hall. And I turn up and everyone had their team on their memory card, but I didn't have mine. So I was borrowing people's teams. Because remember you used to get you could have the classic ones. You'd have Maradona and Pele and Beckenbauer. So I was borrowing it all the way through. And I lost in the final 2-1. All the way through. And the guy who won, he got to go to Corsica for a week for the World Finals. I was fucking gutted.
Devastated.
No way.
Devastated. It's my big moment in football.
So far.
Well, and yeah, I scored it at St James's Park.
That's Newcastle.
Yeah. Yeah, Sunday League team.
Oh, right.
They
So
do-
who was that for?
So one of our players, a big Newcastle fan, he found out that you can pay to play on the pitch.
Yeah.
And they do it in the summer, and they have 3 games a day, and then they take that money and relay the pitch. So we paid, and we played some other team. And I mean, I'm big now, but I was really big then. And
Yeah.
I played for 20 minutes and managed to score a 25-yard lob. It was fucking just one of those when you hoof it, it went in. That was my moment of glory, my absolute moment of glory. So we're gonna have to seed you with a few other people. I think you should talk to Preston Pearce.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I follow that guy, yeah. I like him. I like him a lot. I mean, who else is there that I'm really in? I really love watching.
I think we
Breedlove.
Breedlove, yeah, but
I like Breedlove.
I can't understand what he's on about most of the time. It's like going into a vortex. We can, but they'll all be here, and they'll all be here when we come to Miami next year.
Yeah, I'd love to meet them all.
And I think we should try and get you on a panel.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but you know, it's easy. You've gone easy on me so far today, anyway. So
Well, it's only 5% shitcoins.
That's not too bad
Yeah, we can let that go
for now.
for now, Kieran. Well, listen, mate, great to meet you. Thanks for coming on.
no,
Appreciate this a lot.
a pleasure. Thanks for having
If
me.
you ever need anything or connecting with anyone, let us know.
Yeah.
And when we get you in, when the Bedford thing's done, we'll get you down.
Okay.
I'd love to do that.
Perfect.
It'll
I want
be-
a season ticket at Bedford as well.
Oh, I'm not even going to charge for tickets. It's honestly, when you get down there and see it, it's about as shit as you can imagine.
Yeah, mate. We got to build. You got to build.
Hey.
You got to build from the bottom.
The only way is up.
know.
The ground's going to be the Citadel.
Exactly.
We're calling them Rail Bedford.
Perfect.
Into Bedford didn't work.
No. It's not got the ring to it.
All right, Kieran, listen, look, great to meet you, man. Good luck with this. Good to have
Top
you on
man.
Team Bitcoin, and hope to see you soon, man.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.